Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum-bum. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. That's Mario 2. A very bad impression of the Mario 2 music, but my favorite. All right, if it isn't obvious, I did a little bit of Christmas shopping for my 5-year-old. Gonna get him a Nintendo Switch Lite. So I'm not gonna grab a normal Switch. That ain't gonna happen for him. But we can always, share the Nintendo Switch Lite, and I think you can hook up a controller to it. So enough about Christmas. We're here to talk about stocks. So Nintendo is a great example to just think about investing. It's an interesting company. It's popular. People know about it. So you can look at it in different perspective as a consumer, not just as a stock with a bunch of financials and numbers, but what you feel about the products that it makes. So let's talk about Nintendo and why it's so interesting. The first part is obvious. It's very popular. It has very popular characters. There's a lot of nostalgia, and kids are growing up with it already. Yes, go on YouTube. This is very real. Go on YouTube, and you'll find people that just play Nintendo games, and they're getting 30 million views. Yes, TV is dead, and streaming video games is the wave of the future. Probably it's crazy, but my 5-year-old loves it, and that's what's happening. So it's very popular. The hardware is very popular. I got this at Target. The actual Switch was out of stock, and I didn't want to waste any more time, and I just got a Nintendo Lite because it's pretty much the same thing, and I saved myself $100. Good enough. The interesting thing about Nintendo is that it's in the sector that investors call consumer cyclical. The other sector that's related to consumers is consumer staples. Now, consumer staples are things like toilet paper, basic things that you would buy no matter what was going on. You're going to buy it, and you're pretty much it's not going to be removed when things go bad in the economy. Consumer cyclical, well, those are the products like Nintendo's. And people would argue that they would buy Nintendos no matter what's happening in the economy. But for the most part, entertainment products will get hit during a downturn in the economy. And so any kind of stock that sells products like that, we call it consumer cyclical. So it's Q4 2020, about to switch into Q1 2021, and things are looking a little hairy in the economy. Don't know how your economy's feeling, but I think for most people, it's a little wishy-washy right now. Christmas is probably going to be a little lighter than usual. So I think that right now, when you look at the current economy, it's interesting to note that Nintendo is a consumer cyclical stock when you think about it as a stock decision. So that's kind of the short-term ideas on Nintendo. But let's look long term. If you want to buy Nintendo stock, you should look 5 to 10 years out. Nintendo has really been around as a video game company, not as a card game company as it used to be, for about 30, 35 years, maybe 40 years actually. I'm getting old. It's as old as I am. So can it withstand the competition that's about to come its way? There's a lot of things happening. One of those big things is virtual reality. This has been kind of the joke thing for the last decade, but it's becoming to make headway. I've tried VR. It's becoming a thing. And the question is, can Nintendo compete when all those new hardwares are coming out? From the experience I've seen, I think as long as they jump on board when they realize the time is right, they have enough trademarked characters that are very popular that I think they could ride that wave right into it. Mario is just as famous now as Mickey Mouse. If you want to have a point of how popular it is, if you don't really know much about video games, it's here to stay. Mario is going to be popular for the next 10 years at a minimum. And if Nintendo plays their cards right, he could be popular even longer than that. Time will tell on that one. The other thing is the brands. The brands have not been fully utilized in multimedia. As of now, their video game brands, the Marios, Zeldas, Yoshis, Samuses, I could go on and on and on. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll shut up now. But all of these brands are very popular, but they're utilized in video games. The recent Sonic movie of last year, 2019, showcased that you can make nearly $1 billion on a movie about video games characters. Nintendo has been really nervous about doing video game movies. They had a bunch of botched attempts back in the 90s, but if they decide to utilize the brands and make good products that are outside of video games, they could be successful with that. Think of Marvel and DC. Maybe that's too extreme. Don't think that. But there's a lot of content there and a lot of stories that they could really build on. The Zelda series has a lot of stories that they could build on. You have other games like Mario. You can really build on from there. There's just a lot. I'm only touching the obvious popular ones that I don't want to go into the nitty gritty of other popular games that really you could utilize there. So overall, if you want to buy Nintendo stock, there's two ways. You can buy stock symbol NTDOY or NTDOF. These aren't traded on the normal stock exchanges, and there's a good reason why. They're traded on the Tokyo Stock Exchange, but you can buy them as an American. It would be off the normal path of the New York Stock Exchange and the Nasdaq. It would be over the counter as a stock pick, but it's perfectly fine to do that. It is not a small cap stock. This is a $82 billion company. This is not little kitty stuff. Well, it is little kitty stuff, but it's very big time kitty stuff. So it isn't a small or mid cap stock. This is a large cap stock that has serious earnings and revenue, but they also have kind of this one point of failure. They need to do games and video games right. And we touched on virtual reality, but there's more coming, stuff that we haven't really even conceived of yet, and they need to stay on top of that. If you believe they can, then maybe you should look into the investment even further. My name is Chester Johnson. I'm the co-founder of Stockteamup.com. We do videos every week on the Stockteamup channel. Please watch and subscribe, and thank you for watching this video.